I'll be doing one shelf at a time so that they're short and watchable. We'll be beginning with this shelf, which is right above my desk. Let's begin. So this shelf has a lot of my favorites on it. So here on this side we have my favorite edition of Necessary Secrets by Elizabeth Smart, which I've talked about enough. I'm sure I don't need to talk about it again. And then we have the UK edition of Touch by Lexi Zentner, the Canadian edition of Touch by Lexi Zentner, the American edition of Touch by Lexi Zentner. There are no more editions of Touch by Lexi Zentner. And here we have the North American edition of The Tiger's Wife by Tay Albrecht. And then the UK edition of The Tiger's Wife by Tay Albrecht. And then In the Orchard the Swallows by Peter Hobbs. It's a really, really great little book. And then we have Sinclair Ross, As for Me and My House. This is one of my favorite books ever. It's one of my favorites shelf. And then we have his shorter fiction, The Lamp at Noon and Other Stories. And then we have The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. And then on the shelf I also have my hardcover Alice Munro's. So this is Alice Munro's Best. So it's just a collection of her previously published short stories. And then we have Too Much Happiness. And her most recent... Oh, would you get out? Dear Life. I love this cover. And then we're moving on to Hiromi Goto, who's one of my favorite Canadian authors as well. This is Half World, which is one of the young adult books that she wrote. And this is its sequel, Darkest Light. It's the most recent book of hers. Oh no, what's happened here? Okay, and then we have Hopeful Monsters by Hiromi Goto. It's short stories. And then we have probably one of my favorite books of all time, Chorus of Mushrooms. And then we have her other novel, The Kappa Child, which is also extraordinary. And then this is the copy of Wind Up Bird Chronicle that I read the first time I read it, and the pages started falling out, so I wrapped it in silk. And then I bought myself another copy so that I can, read it again if I'd like to, which I'd like to. And then we have The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. Niffenegger? I don't know. I've heard it both ways. Okay, and then... Oh, this book is really, really beautiful. The Annotated Bee and Me by Tim Bowling. And this is a book where he sort of imagines his... I'm just trying to get the jacket off. Imagines his life and family sort of while using a piece of writing that his grandmother wrote called The Annotated Bee as a backdrop. And then this is the inside of it. It's printed by Gaspereau Press, and they print some really gorgeous books. Can you hear me over this? Oh, the loudest. Oh, you all hate me. Oh, it's the worst day. Okay. Then I have Imagining Ancient Women by Annabel Lyon. Okay, which is the Kreisel lecture from 2 years ago. And we have Dear Sir, I Intend to Burn Your Book, which is last year's Kreisel lecture. That's by Lawrence Hill, who also wrote Book of Negroes, or Someone Knows by Name if you're in a country that thinks that's offensive. And then The Writing of the Disaster by Maurice Blanchot. Then we have On Being Ill by Virginia Woolf. Of course, The Little Prince. And then An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. And I've actually never read this one. I just put it here because it fit really nicely. So I don't know how I feel about this book yet, but I'm sure it's great. Half-Blood Blues by Ezia Dujin. Signed, in fact. And this is a really interesting book, the one coming up. Baba's Kitchen Medicines, Folk Remedies of Ukrainian Settlers in Western Canada. It's really, really incredible. And then A Writer's Life, the Margaret Lawrence Lectures. And then I haven't read this yet, but I really am excited to this summer. The Greater Journey, Americans in Paris by David McCullough. And this next one is also something I can't wait to read. Nijinsky, A Life of Genius and Madness. And he was a dancer, ballet dancer, and then he also choreographed Rite of Spring for the Ballet Russe. And since it's the centennial of Rite of Spring, I'm kind of, I don't know, it's an obsession of mine right now. So, yeah. Cleopatra. Oh no, what happened? Cleopatra by Stacy Schiff. I finished this not too long ago, and there will be a review coming soon. And then A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. And then, oh come on, Russia, A 1,000-Year Chronicle of the Wild East by Martin Sixsmith. And the rest are just kind of reference-y books. Oh, My Shadow. This is Canadian Literature in English, Volume 2, Texts and Contexts. So it's just an anthology of Canadian literature. And then we have Penguin Dictionary of Literary Terms and Literary Theory. And then the Penguin Dictionary of Critical Theory. I don't use these all the time. Canadian Writer's Reference, that's not very interesting. Critical Terms for Literary Study, if anyone is interested in that. And then, What is World Literature? What is World Literature? And then here we have my concise Oxford French Dictionary. Shelf number 1. I hope this isn't loud. I'm about to import it and find out. Okay, see you guys soon.